Hello everybody! Welcome to this live video with Unity Stamp Company. I am Whitney Magnuson and I am going to be sharing some fun card ideas for using our card kit. So these are the cards that I'm going to do today. I'm really excited about them. They're so fun. And I need to share with you the star of the show, which is this kit. If you're not familiar, Unity does have 4 different memberships. The card kit is one of them. It's one of our bigger ones. And this card kit each month kind of has all the supplies that you would need to create cards. And they're meant to be mixed and matched into your existing collection. So you can pull out your other stamps and dies and inks, things like that. So these are just kind of meant to build your collection, and you can use these things over and over again. So it is is it $42.99, Nick, or is it $42? I forget. The price just went up this year, but this is this month's set, and so each month you can expect a stamp set always, and then we do kind of a coordinating paper pack that works with it. This month we have some layering dies which can be used with or without the stamps, and then you get 4 different colors of cardstock. The other cool thing about this membership is that you can skip. If you don't like a month, you can skip, no problem. There's no commitment, and you get discounts on all of our past stamp sets for Whit Kit and paper packs for Whit Kit. And so we've been doing this about 2 or 3 years now, and there are so many stamp sets now, so many paper packs, and you get exclusive pricing as a member. So, let's just go through what's in this month's card kit, which I'm excited about. This is so much fun. I had to stop myself from making cards yesterday because I just had so many ideas. Oh, sorry. We like weenie dogs and they like to bark. Okay. So this one is called Petal Play. And it features a solid rose, so this is for the background, and then this little part to layer on top. And what's really cool about our stamps is that we cut them close, and so they're really easy to just layer right on top of each other with just a block, and I'll show you how to do that. So you get a solid and a more details. We get the solid leaf and the detailed leaf, and then a big sentiment, hope your day is truly amazing. I made this sentiment just because I thought this would be a great one for a lot of different occasions. And so I kind of try to think about that when I'm creating these kits. All right, the other cool thing that comes with this and coordinates with the stamp set is coordinating dies. So you have the die for the solid here. And then we also have a little die for the, where did my thing go? Oh, it's right here. For this one too. So you can stamp and die cut out, or you can die cut them out with your cardstock. There's lots of possibilities with these. I was really excited to be able to kind of add this really versatile set that can be used in so many different ways. So we got that going on. And then of course we got our leaf solid and our details. So I'll share with you guys some different ideas for using these dies and things like that. Also in here, I love this paper pack. It's called Whispering Threads. And when I choose paper packs, I like to kind of choose things that are going to work for a multitude of occasions and just kind of be timeless. And so this is just some lace, ivory, different patterns, and I love it. It is going to be so pretty with this. Of course, I got so excited about the stamp set and the dies, I forgot to take this out and mix it into my cards yesterday. So I'll just have to make some again with this paperback because I love it, but I just got so distracted by the stamps and the dies. But yeah, so many pretty patterns in here. So it's a 6x6 paper pack. You get 24 sheets. So I love that. And then lastly, what is included in this set, and I have already used some of mine, but you get 4 different colors, 2 of each sheet of these, or 4 of each sheet of these colors here. So we have a dark green and a light green. We got our light pink here. Oh, I just want you to see the color, and I already used this color, but, and then that. So this is our luxury cardstock. It is really high quality, 110 pound colored cardstock that you can use for die cutting, you can use for card bases, and your matting, just a whole bunch of uses. So $42, that's the set. You can skip anytime you want. There's no commitment, and yeah. So let's just hop right in and do this. So today is Membership Wednesday. So every Wednesday on our group page, which is the Unity Show and Tell page, we feature our membership kits. And so I thought, you know what, it would be really fun to hop on and just share with you guys some ideas for creating with this card kit live, since it is the day that we celebrate our memberships. All right, so I'm just going to kind of set this off to the side. So if you're just tuning in, or you forget what we're using, it's right here. But this is the first one that I'm going to do, and this really just kind of shows you the basics of how to layer up these stamps with a little bit of masking. And I'm just going to use a plain old acrylic block. I'm not even going to take out my Misty for this because they just layer up so nicely, and it's easy to do. So for this one, we are going to need a white A2 card base. I have a white sheet of cardstock here that we're going to stamp our roses on, and then just a little 1-inch piece of vellum for our sentiment. All right, so I'm just going to flip this over for a sec because I don't want my paper to get all messed up.
Deborah says she's glad you're showing this one. She was kind of confused how to use it.
Oh, cool. Well, I'm glad that I can help you. Sometimes I have visions in my head and I realize they're not, if I don't communicate them, they're not apparent to everybody. Okay, so we're going to start with this solid, and when you're doing layered stamping, you want to start with your lighter color first, because you can always place your dark color over the top, but you cannot place your light color over the top. So I'm going to do Pink Fresh Sparkling Rose, and we're just going to ink this up. I like to make sure it's really inky. Okay. And then when I'm doing backgrounds, I always start in the middle and then kind of work around. So we're going to do that same thing. We're going to stamp our rose in the middle. There we go. And then we're just going to kind of repeat. I'm going to do all my solids, and then we'll do all of our outlines. And when I'm doing it, I like to just kind of twist and turn the stamp so it's not always the same orientation. And right now, it'll look a little crazy, but it's going to turn out so cute. You shall see. And then keeping in mind we need to leave some space for our leaves, so I'm making sure that we're leaving some extra space there. So I'm thinking I'll have 8 cards that I have made with this set, and I'm thinking the next 8 signups, I'm just going to put a card in there for you guys. All right. Oh, thank you, Lou. She said your nails are really pretty. I did them last night, and I wasn't sure. I'm not easy on my nails or hands. I always break them off, so they're usually pretty short-lived.
Then you throw them on the floor in the car.
I do, yeah. I do. Okay. So there we go. There's all of our solids. So now let's go ahead, switch it out. We're going to put our rose outline. And what's cool about this rose outline is you could use it just like this too. You don't have to stamp the background, which I think is a fun look as well. All right, so we're doing Bubblegum by Pink Fresh. This is just a darker pink that I can layer over the top here. Okay, so now it's pretty easy to layer up these layers because they're cut so closely together. So if you look here, we have kind of this weird little notch, and I can see that weird little notch right there. And so I can just simply stamp it right over the top. And it's not supposed to line up right there. So just line it up to the one side. That's what's nice about this layer is that it doesn't have to be 100% perfect for it to look perfect. All right, so we're doing the same thing. I'm always kind of lining up this notch right there. I always pick one point because it's easier for me. Right. And then if there's like little areas where you're like, I don't really know what the heck is going on because it's stamped like halfway on.
Oh, that
No problem.
that looks so good.
I know.
Wow.
It does. It looks good. Even if you're a little unsure, it's going to be okay. All right. And so one of the cool things that you can do with this die set is you can create little masks that go right over this set. So I just went ahead and I die cut out the solid here, and it's going to make the perfect mask. So I die cut this out with my Gina K masking magic. You can use Post-it tape or, you know, a thinner cardstock, whatever works for you. I'm going to move this out of the way so we can just kind of focus a little bit more on this. Okay, so I die cut these out, and so now I have a couple of masks that I can put right over the top of my florals so we can stamp our leaves. So I'm going to start with these two, I think. Oh my goodness, that doogie dog. Okay, so same thing. We're going to start with our solid first. So we're going to start with our solid leaf. And we're going to start with the light color. So I'm doing Fresh Pear. All right. And I want a leaf for sure, like right over here. Let's see. Feel like one would be pretty over here. And let's do like one kind of going off like this. Okay. So before we move our masks, we're just going to go in with this detail one with our dark color, and we're going to do that. So we can kind of get it all done before we move the mask around. All right, so here is our detail part. And again, you can line up this edge really easily with that edge. Right. Perfect. Okay, let's peel up these masks and then we can move them around. So pretty. Okay. Let's see. Yep. This goes here. All right, so we'll do our light green again. We'll do our dark. So if you guys have any questions about our memberships or this one or any of them, just let me know and I can answer questions while I'm doing this. Okay, let's see. Gotta get this all lined up. See if I can get it right. That's like the hardest part, is when it's not stamped completely on there. You know what? I'm just going to make it work and I'm going to do it right there. Okay. Perfect. And then let's go ahead and do right down over here. Oop, that's my dark. Perfect. And one more stamp, and then we're going to die cut this out with a die that just came back in stock. It's not included in the set, but I was saying at the beginning of the video, this set is meant to, or like these memberships are meant to mix and match with your stamp collection. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm going to just cover up my inks. All right, so here is our stamped panel. So cute, I'm obsessed. All right, so we just got in our scallop and rectangle nesting die set, and we're going to use that. But first, okay, so Deborah Arrington had a good question. What are you using again for the masking part? Does it always stay sticky? So I'm using Masking Magic. It is basically the stickiness level of Post-it tape. So it's very low tack. When I make these little masks, I usually just kind of put them in with my packaging for the stamp. Unless you use like water or something where they get a little compromised, you can reuse these. So I reused these yesterday and they still have a little bit of life out of them, so I could just stick them right in here for the next time. So yes, you can reuse them. They will lose tack eventually because they're a low tack masking tape, so you don't rip your paper. Okay, so this is kind of a fun trick that I like to do with this die set is I like to layer them. So we're going to use both of these at one time, and essentially you're going to get a big square, and then you're going to get a fun, like, thin border. So we're going to bring this over to the die cutting machine and get it done.
That Masking Magic must be pretty thin, huh? So you can...
It is, yes. That's the other thing, too, is if you're not using a Masking Magic, make sure you're using a thin paper, because the thicker the cardstock, it's not going to get exact like placement of your leaf. There's going to be a little gap, so if that bothers you, just keep that in mind. Okay, so we have our cute little border there. I love that. And this is not included in the card kit, but it's just kind of one of those nesting die sets that I love, and I use it on every card, so why not use it on this one as well? Okay, so first we are going to adhere down our little border. I'm going to use a liquid glue, and this is my glue of choice, the Ultra Bond adhesive. Let's see. I like to just make sure it's going to be working. I found my glue pen. For those of you that were watching the last video, I'm like, I don't have a glue pen. I found it. Okay. So I'm just kind of doing a light line of glue on the back side of this little border. And then we're going to stick it down on our A2 piece of cardstock here. Using liquid glue for this part is what I prefer, because as you can see, it's a little kitty wampus, but the liquid gives you a little bit of time to kind of move it around and make sure it is to your specifications.
Cheryl on YouTube says this is her favorite die set and
Ooh,
most used.
That is awesome. Yes, I love that nesting die set. It is my favorite as well. Okay, so I have a little piece of vellum. Let's go ahead and stamp out this pretty sentiment on the vellum. I just thought it would be a nice soft like overlay, because I didn't really want to hide our pretty roses that we had stamped. Okay, so there's the sentiment. It says, "I hope your day is truly amazing." And we're just going to stamp that right on there. So if you wanted, you could heat set this, or you can emboss it. I'm just going to kind of, I think, set it aside for a little minute. I don't want it to smear, but I don't want it to, we'll just heat set it. The reason why you want to heat set on like a vellum or an acetate is because the ink doesn't get a chance to seep in like it does with like regular paper, and so it'll be wet longer. So just keep that in mind. I have ruined many of cards. Okay, so we're going to just wrap this around the front here. Really, really pretty. And I'm just going to take a little bit of adhesive and kind of hold that in place on the back side. It's kind of a trick where you're adhering it down, but you don't see the adhesive on the front side of the card, which I'm here for. Okay, it's gonna be that day, huh? All right. And then a little bit of adhesive on the other side. Okay, so we have our little sentiment banner on there, and I love how it pops up a little bit. Okay, so now just to give a little bit of dimension, let's go ahead and pop this up with some foam tape. So this is a pretty like simple card, but I think it's really pretty. It turns out really fun.
Oh, Sue said you can blot it on scrap paper to help speed up the drying of the ink.
Oh, the vellum. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I desperately need a decent scissors, y'all. I'm never gonna make it. All right. Fiskars Kids Edition for the win today. All right. So we got our foam tape. We'll get our backing off. Perfect. Okay. Look at it, even smeared a little right there. I tell ya. All right. So there it is. I think I can fix that actually with a little sand eraser. So here's the first one with just the stamps. And I'm excited to share with you kind of a fun way to use that cardstock in there with your stamps as well. So in this kit, you get 4 different colors of cardstock, and we're gonna do a fun thing with it. So this next card here, I just have a die cut sheet of that pink cardstock that comes inside of the set. I have used my nesting die set that is sold separately. But the great thing, we just switched up our membership, so now if you want to sign up for the card kit and you want to add in other items at the same time, you sure can. That's all new to our website, and we're so happy about it. Okay, so we are going to do some stamping on some colored cardstock here, and I'm going to use some white pigment ink. So let's go ahead, clean off our stamps. I'm using my ink off cleaner. This is another kind of add-on product. It's not in the set, but this is what I use to clean my stamps. And I love it. I'm obsessed. So you just kind of tap it on like you would an ink pad, and then just wipe it right off. And it's squeaky clean. It even takes off like archival and like stays on. So it's a really nice cleaner. Deborah needs an early out note to get out and play with her kid. I support that 100%. Call it like a mental health day. Okay, so I'm going to start with a solid and a white pigment ink. I'm going to use my Gina K white pigment. Whatever you have will work just perfectly. So just really ink it up. It's got to be real inky for this technique. And this is just a fun way that you can stamp on the colored cardstock and get a different look. So again, I like to start in the middle when I do kind of a repeat stamp background. So there's that. Just looks like a blob right now, but you just wait. We're gonna make it cute. I'm not going to do the leaves on this one, so I have a little bit of extra room to kind of squish these florals a little bit closer together, because I'm just going to do the florals.
Susan's wondering, can the stamp cleaner be used on all kinds of stamps or just rubber?
Yes, it is for clear and rubber stamps. So I love that you don't have to switch cleaners or anything.
Hi, Angie.
Hello, Angie. You can actually clean like your rubber stamps with like Dawn dish soap, like whatever you have, you're probably not going to hurt them. They are very, very durable. And that's why I love rubber stamps too, is because not only can you clean them with whatever you want, you can use as many different mediums with them as well. Like a lot of people do clay, inks, paints. I've seen bleach stamping with these, and it's not going to hurt like the integrity of your stamps.
Yeah, I actually have made a few custom stamps for people who do clay work. It's really cool.
Yeah, that is cool. Okay, so now we're going to go in with our darkest pink color, and I'm just really inking this up. And then we are going to stamp it right over the top. And that is what we're left with. So it's just kind of a soft, like rosy effect that stamps over the top of that white pigment. I really like the effect. I think it's really pretty.
Uh-oh, Ginger's watching from Arkansas while she should be working.
Oh, I won't tell. It's kind of weird that like this is my job. I'm just crafting. Can't complain, right? All right, so, oh, and another exciting thing. So it was just my 33rd birthday, and so Unity has a birthday in May, and so do I, and so we are keeping the fun going. We have 50% off site-wide on our stamps, and tomorrow we are going to do a special release in honor of my birthday, and so I'm going to be sharing some sneak peeks over on the Unity Show and Tell page all day long, and I hope that you'll join me and check them out because there are some really, really amazing products. We got some new die sets, some new stamps. Like you're going to want to tune in. So if you have not joined us over on the Unity Show and Tell page, go ahead and send us a little request and we'll approve it right away. All right, so this is what we have going on. It's just like a very subtle kind of tone on tone effect. I really like the way that this looks, but we need to add some splatters. Actually, I'm just going to use the white ink that's on here. Like, why not? I'm not going to waste it. Okay, so I'm just adding a little bit of water to my stamp. And I'm going to splatter the white over the top.
Oh, that's so cute.
I love splatters. I think they're really fun. Okay, so this next part, 100% not necessary, but in my book it is. I'm going to grab my official splatter box. As you can see, this is a kit knit box that I wrote on that nobody can throw away. And this is what I use for like if I'm splattering a lot or if I'm going to be using like a spray. So I'm using my glitter dust iridescent spray, and it just adds like this really pretty subtle shimmer over the top. And this is like a silver type of shimmer, and so
On YouTube, Life in My Craft Room says it's giving her Barbie vibes.
Oh my gosh, I am so obsessed with Barbie lately. Angela and I went and got our toes done yesterday. I'm like, I want Barbie pink. And my daughter is turning 3 on the 22nd, and she's having a Barbie birthday party. Okay, so then this just adds like a little bit of shine, and it does like fade the inks a little bit, but it makes the paper darker, and I liked that look. So just keep that in mind. So when it dries, this is what it looks like. It's very subtle. It's fun. Okay, so we just had a fun freebie, and this was free with purchase. Maybe we'll do it again or add it to the website. Either way, I'll figure out a way where you guys can get this, but it's our sentiment strips, and so they're pre-printed, and then you can just cut them out with your paper cutter. So I'm going to go ahead and cut some out for us. I want to do this Hey Beautiful. I think that would be cute. Yeah. Okay. So I'm just going to adhere this little sentiment down. We have a bunch of these different sentiment strips in our shop if you like these things. We have black and white ones. I love them. I think they're really fun for just, you know, sometimes you're like, oh, if I had white or if I had black, that would really pop on this card. All right, perfect. And then final touch on this card, I just thought it really needed a little bit of dimension. And so I'm grabbing my Nuvo Dream Drops, Cloud 9. This one, again, it's not included in the card set. I'm just going to pulling out some different things that maybe you have in your collection as well that would inspire you. Like, hey, oh, I have Nuvo Drops and I haven't used them in a while and whatever. So these card kits are just kind of meant to build up on each other and be mixed and matched.
That's such a cool color of the drops. It looks like pearls.
Yes, this is like a pearlescent type of look. Okay, so when this one is all done and dried, this is how the Nuvos dry. And I just matted this on some white cardstock with that scallop and rectangle nesting die set. Oh, and I added a little heart gem. But just a fun way to use those layering stamps on your colored cardstock. And you can try this with any of the colored cardstock that you have in your collection, not just the colors that are included. Okay, let's go ahead and I'm going to show you how these dies work. I'm so excited to include these dies in this set. All right, let's flip this over. It's a little distracting. Oh, is it glued down? It's glued down. Okay.
I glued it down.
Don't touch my stuff.
Sorry.
Okay, so this next one, we are going to do some stamping with the dies. So again, I love using this scallop and rectangle nesting die set. I'm sorry, I use it all the time. We're going to do our stamping on this, and then I already have our dies all cut out so we can stamp on these. And you can certainly stamp and then die cut first for the sake of the video. I die cut first. Okay, I went ahead and I grabbed a fun background from our last release that I'm really loving. It's by Gracie Ellie Designs, and it is called Lattice. And I just thought, you know what? This fits so perfectly with the card kit. So if you don't have the stamp, be sure to add it to your cart if you sign up today. And remember, I'm giving away a card to the first 8 people that sign up for our card kit today. Just a fun, like, little treat. Not saying, like, my cards are a big whoop or anything. I'm just saying, like, I want to thank you.
Big whoop.
Well, I mean, I just don't want people to be like, wow, she's really... Okay. So I'm just putting the lattice stamp right inside of here. And I'm going to use a light gray ink. For me, that is Pink Fresh Misty Coast. And we are just going to ink this puppy up.
It's so funny when people buy custom stamps from me, and then I, recommend an ink pad. They get really confused. There are people who don't stamp, and they're like, the ink pad is way too small for the stamp. And I'm like, no, you just dab it on there all around.
That's funny. Like, if I needed an ink pad to fit each stamp, I'd have some big ol' ink pads.
Yeah.
Okay, so I love how this looks in the subtle gray ink. So it can be stamped in brown, or you can color it up, but I just love the subtle look of the gray. Okay, so that's all good. We're going to set that aside to dry. And now we're going to stamp on our die cuts. So I did 2 leaves and 2 of the solid, or 1 solid and 2 leaves. Okay, so same thing with this. Oop. Let's go ahead and clean this stamp off. Got our white pigment ink on there. This is the stamp cleaner I'm using. All right, perfect. Okay, so the hardest part is just lining it up, but like I said, for the sake of the video, I die cut first and then stamped, but it would be much easier to stamp first. But you get the idea. All right, so we have the light pink, And now I am just going to stamp this right on top of my die cut. Perfect. Then I'm going to grab the outline here, and we're going to take our dark pink and stamp that over the top. Super cute. Okay, so same thing with the leaves. One thing that I did do with the leaves, and I'm like, oh, that works out pretty well, is, and you could do the same thing with the solid, like instead of stamping it down, you could just ink blend or like put your ink right over the top.
Oh, there, yeah, that's a good idea.
Because it's just a little area. And then you can just stamp your solid over the top of that. So a couple different options there.
That gives it a nice texture.
Yeah, it does. It is a different texture. All right. So we got all of our little bits all stamped out, ready to go. Let's go ahead and stamp our sentiment on here. I'm just going to tentatively kind of put my rose there so I can, for placement, so I can see. And we're going to stamp out that sentiment. Hope your day is truly amazing. Super cute. Okay, so now for our placement here of our rose, we're just gonna have to figure out where we want our leaves to be glued. And so we're gonna adhere our leaves to our rose first. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of glue. Kind of set these in place where I like them. Perfect, I'm liking that. Okay, so now we're gonna do foam tape on the back of this, just so we can pop up this whole die cut floral and really give it some dimension, make it pop. Come on, foam tape. Come on. Okay. Now we're just going to pop this up on our card. I'm going to do a little bit overlapping because we do have another layer to put on this. So there that is. And then we're just going to adhere this flat down on that white card base. All right. So there is the finished look for this one. I love the dimensional floral with the die cuts and the stamping. I think it turned out really, really fun and pretty. So there's one way to use your stamps and die cuts together. I have one more card to share with you, and this is using just the die cuts and the cardstock included in the card set or in the card kit. So let me just grab what we're going to need for this. So for this next one, it's a theme, you guys. I'm using the scallop and rectangle nesting die set. I'm going to do the little scallops, this next little one here. And then I took the dies and I cut out 2 of the solids out of the pink included. And then we did 2 of the kind of details in the dark pink. We did 2 leaves. in the light, and then 2 leaf details in the dark. So you have all of the cardstock colors you need to kind of assemble these paper flowers. And it ends up being so pretty. Okay, so let's go ahead and assemble our paper flowers. So I like to use sticky dots for my adhesive. You can use whatever adhesive you like. This is just what I like for intricate die cuts. So you just peel it off like this, and you stick it inside like that. I put the tongue on the back of this. And then you can go ahead and put it on your card. All right, so we got one little rose. Sticking to me. Okay. There's that. And then we'll do the same thing with our little leaf detail. And stick these both in here. They're small. So kind of the thought process behind this card kit is making it so you can use the dies with or without the stamps. And there's lots of possibilities to get the most out of your investment on this set. Super pretty, love it. So our roses, they're all ready to go. We're gonna stamp out that lattice background again, because I just think it's such a nice backdrop for this, these die cuts. So I'm just gonna take, we already have the lattice stamp inside of my Misty. And then we're gonna use light gray ink, Misty Coast by Pink Fresh.
What's the name of the adhesive for the details?
The adhesive for the details is Sticky Dots by iCraft. I think we might be sold out on our shop, but you can get it like a lot of other places. It's made by Thermoweb, and so they sell to all other retailers. I just have it because I love it, and we used to sell it. So Robin is asking, will the coordinating die for the layering tulip stamp and stencil be coming back in stock? Yes, it will. So we are out of stock on some dies that went way quicker than we really anticipated. But yes, they will be coming back, and so stay tuned for that. Okay, so we just have a really pretty soft kind of lattice look going on. I need to look, oh yeah, here it is. I'm like, I need to look at my card. I don't remember what I did. Okay, so we're just going to kind of set our roses on the edges. These are where our main roses are going to be, and that's just a guide for stamping our sentiment. I want to make sure that our sentiment's going to fit on there the way that we have our roses. So just kind of right in the middle is where I wanted it. And then let's go ahead and assemble our roses here. So I'm just going to take and adhere this with a little bit of glue. The thing I love about using the die cuts with just the cardstock too is that it really is dimensional. Like it just adds like so much texture to this. It's so pretty. Okay, since these are mirrored, I want one to kind of be on the left and one to be on the right. Okay. So then it is just kind of positioning the florals till we're happy with them. And I like that position. So I'm just going to take flat adhesive, liquid glue. We're going to put on the back. And we're going to set this in place. And same thing with this one. So you could totally leave as is. I'm going to cut off the excess, and then I'm going to kind of position it around so it's like a little border. So I'm just going to you could take your paper cutter or scissors, whatever you have, and we're just going to carefully cut the edge off. And we're going to use most of that, so don't be too disappointed. Okay, so now we have all this like extra little bits that we can use to kind of create a framed look. And so I liked this one kind of right up here. It already had glue on the back. And then I think we should do one that's kind of like that. Cute.
That's awesome.
So we still have some bits left, but that's okay. Okay, so then we are going to take this whole panel and we're just going to glue it right down to our next layer here. All right. So I love the dimension that you get and that little bit of lattice poking out. Chef's kiss. I'm here for it. I really, really love how this card kit turned out. So here's the cards that were made. So if you're just tuning in and you missed the first three, oh yeah, that's such a good idea. So Nikki said you could use the leftover bits on the inside of the card. Absolutely. Like you could stick this down on the bottom. Yeah, don't waste anything. Okay, so if you missed the first three cards, these are the cards that were made during the video, and you can watch this on replay. But we used just the dies and the cardstocks included here. Paired it with our lattice stamp that just came out. I love it. It's a really pretty dimensional look. Next, we have the dies with the stamps and the lattice stamp again. So fun. I love how that turned out. Here is a fun way to stamp on that cardstock and get a layered look, just something a little bit different. And then finally, here is just the stamps kind of in a layered up background. And I love how this turned out. So this is the card kit that was used. This is a part of our subscription services. We have 4 subscriptions. This is one of them. It is a card kit. So each month it includes a stamp set, a paper pack, and then kind of some supplies that pair with it. So next month is going to be dies as well. And it's a really, really fun set. And I think maybe Lisa will even be sharing a sneak peek as to what the next one looks like for June. But don't worry, you are always able to skip. If you are not a fan of a certain set, you can skip. You can come on back later. So yeah, really a lot of flexibility, and do not forget that you get discounts on all of the past Whit Kit stamp sets and paper packs as a member, and $6.95 off of all of your orders over $45. That's an automatic discount for Kit of the Month and Whit Kit members only. So some really big perks for being a member. And I hope that you check it out. I'm going to do the first 8 signups after this video. I'm just going to include a little thank you card for you all for hanging out with me and taking a chance on this set. And so, yeah, stay tuned for sneak peeks and lots of fun stuff happening over on the show and tell all day long today. And stay tuned for the big release tomorrow. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me. Bye, everybody.